Cole, do you think that Zoro will get some kind of backstory glow up or more character development to get on Sanji's level? I used to be a Zoro stan, but after second reread, I find him lacking depth. For characterization and character development, I think that Zoro, his best thing going forward right now probably be stuff pertaining to Mihawk. I'm not too sure what else you could do. Oh, I guess also the Sanda Katetsu blades too. But yeah, it's gotta be more conducive with Zoro's goal, I think. I don't see how Zoro, because Oda decided not to give, this is a crazy play by Oda. Oda decided not to give Zoro content that pertained to his family at all in the main story. Oda said, I'm gonna do that in an SBS. Okay, he's allowed to make that call, but it's a crazy call to make. Okay, he felt that Oda felt that Zoro didn't need this stuff in an actual backstory. Why? I don't know. That's what Oda decided to do. Weird. So we can't really dive in that aspect for his character. What about Zoro's character growth with other characters in the crew? That's very possible. Where a lot of times Zoro's characterization in the pre-time skip really came with his steadfastness and how he was a good secondary leader in situations where they needed someone to kind of guide them when Luffy wasn't around. And a lot of times, let's say Sanji was like, let's say on some sort of like stealth mission, right? So you'd see situations where Zoro kind of took the reins there, which was good stuff for his character. So you can see more of that. But it's also like a redundant thing for his character. We've seen before time and time again. It's not, let's say, unique. So for me, it's more about like Zoro's goal. And then him and his sword. Like, I think the Black Blade stuff should be some pretty good stuff for Zoro. Like, that should be really good for Zoro. Black Blades. After Black Blades, probably we have the Sonic Katetsu stuff, or whichever order wants to do that in. And then Mihawk stuff, that too. There could be a chance here where, let's say, we have, because I have a take here where I think that Sanji may still be going through this Germa transformation innately, and he's still getting enhancements, and so he may be somehow maybe trying to like lose himself, or he could see himself like, let's say, lose himself in some way. So what they said in Wano Country could come back to the fold, where Zoro was asked by Sanji to take him out if he needed to. So that could be a good moment for both their characters as well. But then that would also enhance Sanji's characters too in some way. So you can't necessarily catch up to Sanji in that sense. Zoro needs his own thing, right? That's the idea. So his own thing would be the swords. Oh, and of course his ties to, if Oda really wants to dive more into that, obviously the Ryoma stuff. I think that Ashura has yet to be explained, Ashura and the Blue Flames properly. And if Oda wants to actually dive into that properly, that could be good stuff for his Zoro as well. So there are avenues that Oda could do that, but they're not really simplistic. They're actually a lot more complicated. At least I think they're complicated based on Zoro's goals, his abilities, and perhaps his heritage that ties all the way back to Ryoma. But again, he will get, I think, some good stuff for characterization among the other crew members with interactions, and that's, you know, but that's like standard affair stuff. Well, Zoro had his own thing in Wano Country, but it wasn't like enough, I think, for Zoro, because there were so many other players in Wano Country. Whereas like Whole Cake Island, there was a clear, distinct Sanji focus for damn near half of the arc, right? Up until you say Big Mom, actually even after Big Mom gets the, after she goes through her hunger pangs and the wedding is called off, even still Sanji gets his own stuff by leading the chefs, baking the cake, saving millions of lives across the entire Tall Land, so on and so forth, you know? But Zoro, what he got in Wano Country was good, but the Oda didn't like follow up on certain things. For example, he didn't follow up on Zoro visiting Ryoma's grave, which could be good for his character. Let's say Ryoma and Zoro. Remember how like they said before that Ryoma's swordsmanship or Ushimaru's swordsmanship was similar to Zoro's swordsmanship, and that would have been a nice ass convo between Kawamatsu and Hyogoro and Zoro about his swordsmanship, who taught him all these things, and then Zoro, let's say, learning about his family lineage through Ushimaru, through Hyogoro and Kawamatsu. But Oda said, nah, like Oda said SBS. The roads were there, but Oda chose not to take those roads. And to me, it's kind of confusing, because as a character, Zoro has a lot of opportunity for his character to really grow and blossom, for sure. But I think he is lagging compared to, like, I would say in terms of character growth and character development, he is lagging compared to Usopp, Robin, Sanji. I would say those three predominantly. I would say Luffy too. He's lagging behind Luffy as well. In some cases, I want to say Nami's better character than Zoro too. I actually kind of lean more towards Nami as a character over Zoro in terms of characterization and character development, because in Punk Hazard, Nami does get quite a bit, like, yeah, it's not like the greatest thing, but Nami has like the whole mother thing going on, which is like a lot more distinct nowadays. Her role as a, not necessarily like a caretaker, but you can see her maturing in that sense. And you saw in Punk Hazard with Nami and Chopper and Robin, mainly just Chopper and Nami, I would say. But the last best character development for Zoro was Water 7. Water 7, Zoro was really strong. I thought that Zoro had a good call on not having Luffy, number one, just, you know, treat Usopp fairly. And then number two, after it was all said and done, after they came back, Usopp had actually begged for forgiveness. He had to show that he was genuinely sorry about what he did. These are all good things for Zoro. These are all very damn good things for Zoro. Like Zoro, man, Zoro in the pre-time skip was a really good character. Zoro is strong in the pre-time skip. Zoro is really, really good character, I would say. Are there some characters that are better than him in pre-time skip? Yeah, like Robin, I think, is just way too good as a character. But Zoro's very strong he's very strong in the pre-time skip. I always say, let's say, like me personally, I feel like Sanji was also very good too, because for me, Sanji was, I thought, very similar to Garp in many respects, where Garp chose him being a Marine and his role as a Marine, rather than, let's say, him trying to save Ace. And how Sanji, even though he wanted to save Robin, he didn't commit to fighting Khalifa and actually hurting Khalifa during Enies Lobby. The idea is that for both Sanji and for Garp, there were things that are more important to them than, let's say, their crew or their loved ones. And for Garp, that was his own commitments to the Marine. And for Sanji, it was more like a religious code that he had to not hurt anyone, including, well, not hurt women, right? Because that would be like an upfront to Zeph in certain respects. So, but Zoro was a strong character for sure. And I feel like, again, his steadfastness is the key thing that makes him like a really good character in the pre-time skip for sure. But Sanji, I don't think was far behind at all. In fact, I'll say like him and Zoro in terms of character were pretty close, but I'll give Zoro the edge in character in the pre-time skip. But in the post-time skip, it dramatically shifts because, again, Zoro gets... Wano Country does give Zoro stuff, and it's just not really great stuff compared to what Sanji gets. Or Sanji, actually, I'll argue, in Punk Hazard and in Zou, Sanji gets a lot of good shit. Like, a lot of really good shit. And in Dressrosa, Zoro gets good stuff too, but it's not all that fantastic, I think, compared to what Sanji gets in... Oh man, Hokugan Sanji was really good character. Sanji gets these outstanding moments across the board, from Zou to fight against Luffy, and then dude, the fight against Luffy and Sanji was dramatic. It was so moving. It was sad. It was like there were so many notes that hits very, very well, and I just feel like Zoro needed a lot of Wild Country. And Oda set that up too, because I mean, Oda had Zoro say, "I'm going to lead the samurai. I'm going to lead the samurai." He said that in Zou, just how Sanji had Zou set up prior to Luffy Cubby's arrival, where you have the announcement of the German family, you have the assassin family, you have Sanji kind of throw away, I think it was Brook, Nami, and company from Capone's body, and then he commits himself, but Brook understands that there's something more to that smile. Obviously, he's not like he's going to actually like give his own life in the process to try and save theirs. But also that too, it's Zeph as well, because folks say, okay, well, why did Sanji make that call, even though he knows that based on what happened, let's say Robin and Usopp, other guys left the crew, Sanji wouldn't do that. But it wasn't just the crew; it was also Zeph as well. Like they had the East Blue on lock. And they're gonna kill Zeph and this whole, you know, like, and then all of Baratie. So it was way more than just, let's say, you know, let's try to practice at that point in time. Here's the thing about Wild Country that I think folks have to remember, okay? Kind of go back, what years are now? 2025? Go back to 2019. Go back to 2018, right? What was going on at that point in time during the beginning of Wild Country, Reverie, and Whole Cake Island? The One Piece staff themselves, editors, I think Oda himself, were hyping up Wano Country. I think that was the first time. I think that was the first time I've ever seen Oda and editors, almost editors, mainly them, hyping up an arc. Like, don't worry, guys. Wano's right around the corner. It's gonna be incredible. It's gonna be amazing. And off the gate, you see Zoro on his own. He's not following the orders of Kinemon 1-for-1. He took out a magistrate. He's on the run. Like, Zoro had some good stuff off the gate. But I think the issue was that there were too many characters in Wano country. That is the primary reason why, if Zoro gets shafted, in most folks' mind, it's because of that reason. In the minds of most folks, he gets shafted in Wano country. Why is it the case? Because this dude had to deal with other characters stealing a lot of that spotlight. He has cool for sure, but his character is lacking. Yes, his character is lacking.
See you. Bye-bye.